Good evening. Parker Thomas here, BT42, and I'm sorry my hair's a little messy today. So anyway, today I want to talk about something very different, and it's about cherishing your memories. Cherishing your memories, but never ever look back to how you came here. You know, I think it's time to talk about a story that I was a little nervous about sharing, but it's time. Back in 2009, yes, back in 2009, I was a little young cub, as they always call him, right? A young cub. I was still young, didn't know better how to do taekwondo, and I was a white belt at the time. I think it was in November, October I started getting to that. Actually, it's September or July. I don't remember when it was, but I remember that year. It's one of my favorite years. And I started taekwondo, and I think it's one of the biggest memories I ever had was my first teaching. Teachers, some people may say these teachers I'm going to talk about were actually one of my favorite memories. Some people might say that I was not a very good student, and I wasn't. I was going through a lot of things back then. I'm still going through a lot right now, which is what it is. But the teachers, you might ask, who are they? Master Fry and Mrs. Fry. Master Fry is now a 9th degree black belt. Yes, that's right. Master Fry is a 9th degree black belt. And I want to share because Local 12, WKRC has talked about him recently. And sadly, one of his people has passed away. It's really rough. When I heard the news, I was literally crying before I started work. I was thinking it was today. I almost choked, actually. I choked today when it happened. Because that was someone else I couldn't have time to cherish those memories with. There's a lot of people in my life I never had the time to cherish things. And it's one of the biggest regrets I had in my life. One of the biggest regrets I ever had in my entire life. At age 6, my first stepdad passed away. Big alcoholism. It fucking sucks. So to this very day, I ask myself, if this was 2020, if this was like 2020 or 2021, would things be differently? And to that case, I would say they won't. If I went back to 2006, it would still don't change a thing. Because I was 7, I didn't know better. And plus, I had autism. It sucks. In 2009, I had a perilous situation I don't want to get into yet. Because, like I said, I don't want to get in trouble. 2005, I had a classmate of mine who called me a retard because of my autism abilities. Never seen him again, actually. Never got to see him again. See how he's doing. But it sucks. It kind of sucks, In 2020, I had to risk my whole body over my situation, starving myself for about a week or two. But I did drink water at the time. I'm trying to get myself back into it. There's a lot of good memories I have and a lot of bad memories. Those are just the bad. But the good memories I have are actually the most, I'll say they're still emotional to me. Going to state, going to a regional championship game in my bowling career in my senior year, and becoming a state runner-up part of a doubles. It's one of the biggest cherished moments. Took care of myself, got to academically, been successful. Got everything fall into place a little bit. Sometimes when we cherish our moments, time goes flying, huh? 2020 goes 2023, or when 2007 happened, felt like it was 2010, when in 2020, I was like, holy shit, time was flying, huh? How the years flying, huh? Years flying. But that's not the point. right? We should cherish the moments that we have within a day or two. That's how actually a wise man taught me a long time ago. That you should cherish your moments once you hit your mid-20s. Because once you hit your 30s, that's when you have your big adventure, your true adventure. And I can see I can see how it fits that, right? When you hit your 20s, you're still trying to figure it out. Especially if you hit your mid-20s, you're still trying to figure it out. And that's why I've been trying new things. I've been trying to read manga, which, by the way, for anyone watching today, add another book to my collection. I'm about to show off some of the other books I have in my collection. I'll go ahead and show you all a little fun reveal guide today. It's Sailor Moon. I got a little Sailor Moon book. I'm gonna read it sometime, and I got a little skimming through it, and actually it looks pretty. I got a very good pick. It's a very nice little pick, a very nice little choice I had. And also speaking of which, I'm gonna let you all know something. For the SFL Nation who's watching this today, I'm very glad that I'm gonna make this announcement because I feel like it's time to make that announcement. After a very long time consideration, I'm officially going to decide to be a writer, per se. And it's not going to be an SFL author or, an SFL article writer or something like that. It's just going to be more of a fictional story writer. Now, some people ask me what kind of genres you're looking at. I'm focusing on sports, fiction, and fantasy writing. That's actually one of the reasons why I did that video content. Remember that first video I tell you all? That is why. And actually, those kind of things really motivate me every day to start. And even, like I said, the books I show you off, every time I read all the books I get, are the motivations I get every single day. That I actually get to read them, bring up ideas to use these to bring them up and actually say, okay, let's bring them up. Because I think those are the goodest things about what manga is. Manga is something you can relate to. Same as reading a novel. Reading a novel is actually something you can relate to. So if you can read it, if you read and you look at your experience, say, okay, I can relate to it. That's the same thing, which I find it really, we're going full circle, am I right? That our lives, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, are just like mangas. We have a relatable story of some kind. But at the same time, you have to understand that your memories have a positive connotation, even if they're really, really negative. That you look back to it and say, you know what? I made the best decision in my life, even though it took a lot of high risk, for example. That's why I want to do this. And that's why I want to do this, even though it's a high risk, medium reward. And like I said, it's going to be different. My goal in life is going to be different than what people think. And that's okay. I am not expecting at all to be, I am not here to expect anything of, what I want to do in my life to meet what anyone else tells me. But you have to work hard to get what you want. Which, let's get back to the story, right? Get back to the main point of the story. So, Master Fry, when I used to be a brown belt. You get my test. We had to do a side kick and a roundhouse high kick, I think it was, or something like that. It was like a roundhouse high kick and a rainbow kick. Yes. So a rainbow kick, what they do is they'll put boards. They'll have a board on. What they'll have is also, they'll actually one of the tests you have to do on a purple belt, you'll do rainbow kick. You have to do a rainbow kick, and you have to straight through down there. And then you get 3 chances, or 3 to 4 chances, or 5 chances of doing a hammer hit. The first try, actually, it was really hurtful. I got really hurt. Second time, boom. Took a lot of force, fast and quick. Brown belt, we had to basically, I think it was, you had to do a side kick, or I could have messing this up, but I did a side kick, Man, that was clean when I kicked it too. It was freaking clean. Like I basically, it was sliced through like a knife, like bread. It was beautiful when I was there, and then I had to do a side roundhouse kick. It hit me in the leg, but it went through actually. It counted actually, so which is nice. My dad had to at the time. My father had to get some boards ready for that test. And I told my dad nowadays, that was pretty much one of the best moments I had in my entire life when it comes to that, you know. And some people ask me, when red belt happened, why did you fail? Why you didn't get the black belt? I had to do try this once and twice. I had two chances, and the second time I was like, all right, this is over. We're done. Because I can't try it again. Like this was I went through enough stamina. My academics were kind of flunking a little bit. Like, not flunking to the point where it's failure, right? But it's more of like I have to focus on my studies. Like, it's nothing against Taekwondo. I have nothing against the sport of Taekwondo. Even though people recommend Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, like, when I mean wrestling, I'm talking about Greco-Roman, not WWE like wrestling. WWE wrestling, yes, you can do that kind of stuff too, but have fun, right? Or some people like to do Hapkido or MMA, which the thing is, if people ask me what is the best recommended for me if I ever go back to fighting again, would I do Greco-Roman? Absolutely, I would love to do Greco-Roman. No, hands down, I would love to do something like Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, guys who I actually inspire me to be stronger as a person to compete if I ever had time to do so. But my goal in life is not to be a tough man. Okay. I mean, if I ever came back and I was younger again, would I ever do it again? Absolutely. But a little differently. I'll do Taekwondo. Some days I'll do Greco-Roman. Some days I'll do something like, learn and train the craft of not just one type of fighting style, but also learn different fighting styles. That's me. The only sport I would never do is kickboxing or boxing. Period. Like, kickboxing is too rough for me to compete with. Boxing is too it's too gruesome to watch. Nothing against you, Eddie Gage, by the way. Nothing against you, because you're a boxer. So kudos on you, bro. Kudos on you, coach. But what's my point? When I had heard the news that my teacher, Master Fry, had that ninth degree, I had a lot of flashbacks, a lot of good memories. I remember some days he would ask me to do push-ups. 100 push-ups every single class. I was late that day. I remember one day I was very late. Master Fry told me, Parker, you do 100 push-ups. I said, why? Just do it. I pushed it. I kept doing. I got it done. I was like, and actually, I actually told some of my other people I work with. I told them the whole story. But basically, I asked why, and he say, "We'll talk about it after we're done." Right? I was a little upset, but I did it anyway. Push up. Did 100 of them. We're done. I asked why. The reason why I'm teaching you this is because it teaches you discipline. And nowadays, it's a click and a snap. That's why nowadays I am very disciplined to do what I want to do, to be successful. Even if it means it's the smallest accomplishment in my life. And I know some people may say, well, isn't the smallest accomplishment not something you should aim for? Well, some accomplishments in your life should be something that should be what you aim for. Now, let me just go ahead and get to the main point of the story and what was the main morals of my life with that story. Cherish the memories. There's actually 3 points I want to talk about. Cherish your memories. Number 2, discipline is important. And number 3, there's always downsides in your life. Yes, there will always be downsides, but you cannot accept that is your fault. AKA, you have, basically, another way of saying it is that your burdens just don't equal. Your burdens in your life don't equal you not being you being great as who you are. Let's say what's that. Let's start with the third point. The burdens equals your not your it means not your your burdens. Accepting your burdens are not your. How do I best put this in a way? Okay, your burdens, and I've learned this the hard way. I remember I know I ask a lot of time. I won't say a lot, but it's one of my biggest pet peeves. I know I have a lot of people who are very pet peeve when I ask them that question. Like, are you ever burned? Am I ever burned to you? Guess what everyone around me say? No, you're not. You work your ass off. You put discipline on the table. You put everything yourself in the situation, and you work your ass off. And actually not only did that motivate me that one day when I asked that, but they also told me like you need to stop harping on it, man. You need to stop harping on it. You need to stop thinking about things negatively in the hindsight, right? Stop thinking of things differently, etc. Right? And I can say that they're right. That is not I don't disagree with it, and I think it's something I think people have the right to understand that your burdens don't equal your success. And some people might ask themselves, does it really matter? Does my success really matter? And does my success really does matter? And the reality is it does. Some people I had one day I thought I had that mentality. It was really a shitty mentality actually that day because I was working my ass off that day, but yet people got angry at me for it. And when I went to the SL championship, I wanted to tell this to Eddie Gage and the whole team that when we lost back-to-back championships, I felt like my work didn't matter. I really didn't, but I didn't say it because you know what? It would make me look like an asshole. It would make me look like I'm a little dipshit. But anyway, part of my language. That's not the point. The point I'm trying to make to you. The point is, the reality is your burns don't equal how much success you had, and it doesn't really equal the meaning of who you are as a person, especially if you have good values, which leads to discipline. Discipline is the biggest trait a lot of these, well, I won't say a lot of these guys, but some guys don't have it. And it's a trait you can build today. Like I said, that story should be, I hope it's a good motivation for people and I think it's a good example of me being the symbol of when I was asking, why should I do 100 push-ups? And I did it anyway, and I said, and it proves the point, and my teacher proved the point. I think he hit home that, discipline is very important, even if it's just the smallest that people think is the smallest of things. I'll give you an example. Recently, I had a while back, I had two kids crying. I was at work, right? I was upset. Actually, I was very angry one day. I was really pissed about something else. I had two kids and a mother. They were going shopping, and I was working that day. The two kids were crying. I think they were like twin siblings. I don't know where they are, but I don't want to say what happened, but I don't know what caused it. But I felt mercy in my soul. There's a little Bible verse. I'll give you an example. I find it really. I don't want to get into much of the religion part of it, but I think it really hits home the point. Jesus one day had to come down to the downtown. I was thinking it was a little bit than one of the towns. There were two blind men. We all know this story. And both said, "Lord, Lord, have pity on us." And Jesus was looking around, those two people, and no one wanted to listen. And then both said, "Lord, Lord, have pity on us." And they keep begging to God. And then Jesus felt bad for them. So instead, what he did was he healed them. That's right. He healed their blindness. That was me in a nutshell. Those two kids were crying and crying and crying, yet no one else wanted to do it. And I felt bad for them. So what I did was I gave them a few stickers. And they were all happy. That's how I feel about these days, that when people are so sad, I don't want them to be sad just like I was for years. That after all these burdens, right, I felt like that all the pain I had that they had are the same as what I was in their age. And I think it really makes me stronger as a person in a good way, and not in a prideful way. By the way, I'll say I'm very humble nowadays. I really am. I'm very humbled that I'm very glad. I'm very grateful that the teachings I got from myself, from the pains, from the L's to the W's, to the highest of success, to the lowest of the lows, I think is what made me disciplined every day. And why I think it's really, I think it's very strong. Which is one of the reasons why I want to be an author. Because I think that discipline kept going. Now, yes, I have been taking a long break of getting things planned out with my first story. And I would say it's more of a flaw. Yes, I think it's a flaw, and that's not. I think it's okay. And the thing is, like I said, that's why I said discipline is a hard trait, especially if you want to be consistent. And I'm not saying I am not disciplined. I just think it's a then and there. You know what I mean? I can be disciplined. I can be there when it needs to be done. And I think that's what true discipline is being there, being reliable, and knowing what needs to be done. And that you know what needs to be done, even if people don't like the way you're doing it. So, that's just the way I look at things. I could be wrong. Like I said, you're just listening to a person who has autism, PTSD, and Asperger's syndrome. So, just one version of it. But it's the main point. Cherish your memories. A lot of people in your life will be gone tomorrow. Talk to your family members if you need to. I'm going to say it this way. People have no idea what tomorrow can happen. You could die tomorrow. I could die tomorrow. What you should do is talk to your family and say hi for once. And I know it sounds like me, being not understandable about your situation. And that's okay. I know some people who are watching this are like, man, my parents passed away. I don't know where my siblings or my brothers or sisters are at. I need to find them. Go find them. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now that if your parents pass away, and if your parents are still alive, if they're very old and they need help them out. They're the ones who brought here to this world. Even if it's not a very good uprising or a good awakening for you or a good childhood. Your childhood may be crap, but that doesn't mean that your journey is over. Every journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And your first single step of 1,000 miles can begin today. And all I can say to these younger generation, the next generations, my advice is, if I ever pick one piece of advice, is this. Learn the pains of yesterday and be who you are today. Because treat those pains as if and this is just also my advice for the current generation, is just remember your pain is there, okay? Your pain is there. Acknowledge that you have pain. Acknowledge you have sadness. Acknowledge you have sorrow. Acknowledge that you have been defeated once. But that doesn't mean that you're not done yet, okay? And when I mean defeat, I'm not talking about losing, okay? Losing competition. I'm talking about more of feeling pain to the point where for example, betrayal. That is a defeat. People don't know that, but betrayal is the worst kind. I've been there. It sucks, especially when your trust is thrown out the window. But not the main point again. Not the true point of my situation. Not the true point. The point I'm trying to give you is that you should cherish the memories of who you know, who you loved, who are in your blood. Because once you got that, you're good. Okay? That doesn't mean that it's over. Okay? It doesn't mean it's, like I said, it doesn't mean it's over yet. It's over until you say you want it to be. But at the end of the day, What matters is also the legacy you want to leave behind. The legacy, like I said, like I said, this is where it gets the biggest point. Your legacy matters. Okay? So, and your legacy comes from those who taught you well. Okay? People don't understand that either, that your legacy doesn't equal your past. Okay? Some people will tell you that you're a shell of a man, when in reality you're not. Okay? I have learned that the hard way. And guess what? Even though I was depressed for 6 years, I got myself dug out of the hole. And yes, do I feel sorrow today? Absolutely. But more of timing. And that's okay. I may never be perfect in my life. I may never be perfect who I am as a man. I may never be what people think of me as a man. But, like I said, the Taekwondo is not a true fighting sport, but it is a sport of discipline, which I'll probably make another video about that actually, just to commemorate my Taekwondo journey. And probably want to tell you some stories, why all these people are saying, well, Taekwondo is not a true fighting sport. And I agree with them. It's not a true sport of that, but it's a sport of discipline. It's a fighting type of discipline. Now, yes, you don't fight with the techniques you learn. Now, do you learn? Can you use the techniques to teach you that? Absolutely. Which I'll probably get into that in another video because I think it needs to be honestly discussed. Because I'm listening all the time, listening to all what these people are saying, and I agree with them, but also there's a mix of my opinions. You know what I mean? Like I said, Taekwondo is a sport of discipline, and it doesn't really matter what people think. So, again, that's just my take. And I've been very disciplined every day of my life. Except for my high school years, which sucked. But that's not the main point. But yeah. Just to let you all know, I'm starting to become an author. And it's a hobby that I'm probably going to get ready to get started tomorrow. But tomorrow, probably consider making a video tomorrow morning and then get to work. Get things planned out, get things planned ahead for the future for next week. And, cannot wait to see what the future brings. I am Parker Thomas, PT42 for life. I'm signing out. Peace, I'm out.